screens, it's a plot to drop the IQ. Fighting amongst each other over rumors that don't like you. Prefer us trapped in melancholy with the wood ones of holly. Suggestions that obliterate to camouflage the folly. Attempted mental robbery, executed sloppily. Hypocrisy, this mockery, and walk the talk with me. Put the hands up to touch the Akasha, cause you know deep down there's something bigger than your wallet.
Sweet eternal balance fall that is good, true, and beautiful, friends. Welcome back to Rogue Soul, where tonight we're talking about the new moon coming up soon and how important it is, the messages I've received around it, and what I have therefore been guided to offer everybody. It's an important time of the age, the transition between ages, of the cusps of the transitions between ages, and the energy is pretty intense. I don't know, I think some people feel like maybe they're not tapped in, or maybe they're not, feeling it that specific way. And that's cool. I bet if you took a little bit of an inventory and you made some sort of comparisons, you might feel a little bit differently. It's intense. It's not just the world. It's not just society. It's not just the economy. It's not just our physical health and the new challenges we face in the last handful of years around that. It's not just all of these things. Those things are all symptoms, actually. It's not just the geomagnetic excursion. It's just not just the magnetosphere weakening. It's not just the cosmic radiation and energy that's coming in from the larger galaxy, from the larger universe. It's not just that. It's the time we are in. Those are all symptoms of the age changing. They're all symptoms of humanity's consciousness uplifting, transforming, and transcending. It gets more and more powerful as we go. You may be familiar with the sort of rhythm of it all. If you're a healer, if you're a psychic, if you're a spiritual person, you kind of have become, either just by your experience or because, sometimes people teach these things, you may have become well versed in this idea. And if you're not, you might not have encountered this idea that you purify as you go. And really, you can become familiar with this idea if you just reflect on your life. Just like when you are ill, let's say, and you've ingested some kind of bacteria that's a bit too much for your system, you will purge. You will purge, sometimes in multiple ways. You'll sweat it out, you'll cry it out, you'll, vomit it out, etc. You do this emotionally, mentally, and spiritually as well. And so when we're receiving all these upliftments, all these positive energies, we're also clearing, we're also purifying. And it's so important during this time, especially more than ever, to be taking really good care of ourselves. And you might feel like, oh man, not one more thing. I can't handle anything else. The thing is, when we stop to take care of ourselves, all the other things get a little bit easier. So it's not one more thing. It's actually a huge reduction in your burden, in your weight that you're carrying, in all of the sort of stress and the multiple things going on and all the attention grabbing, of the world, of your family, of your situation. That all gets easier. And I remember someone I was working with recently, and they were talking about, I just can't do it all. I can't do it all. It seems like other people can do it all. But here I am, and I'm just like struggling to buy food and make it and eat it and clean and go to work. Like, these are things that should be sort of, the minimum. And then you might go out and you might have fun and you might go on a little trip or a journey on the weekend or something. But I can't even hardly do the basic stuff. And I was saying, it actually gets to be like that for so many people. I've definitely been there very recently, in fact, and I visit that space often, it seems like. But the thing is that it's true that when you give yourself the time and the space to really feed your soul, really feed your mind, your heart, your body, to take time to really do that, everything else gets easier. Everything else gets lighter, because I said this to this person, I'm saying this to you, I'm reminding myself that when you are feeling better, everything's easier. And feeling better can be a physical, a mental, and emotional, and a spiritual thing. All of those layers are aspects of ourselves. So, I teach this, I talk about this, no matter what topic I'm talking about, no matter what the show is actually about. Those are the things I'm sort of weaving in all of the time, because this is what we actually all need to be thinking about and giving to ourselves more and more is that healing, that support. And one of the things that I love is doing group work and group events. More and more, I try to do these group events and group work. I shouldn't even say try. I'm called and guided to do more and more group work, and I understand why. And Source and Heaven, spiritual guides, like they're very smart. They know what they're doing. They've got their stuff together. So they'll call me to do these things, and I just see how much people receive. I see how much bigger it actually is than when people are working one-on-one. And it's not to say that one-on-one isn't also beautiful. It's perfect. I love working one-on-one with people too. That's really cool. And huge transformational breakthroughs obviously happen one-on-one. It's just so interesting that in a group, it's like we call in more, we can receive more, and we can release more, and it's all easier. And there's something about the group that just does that. And I've always noticed that. I've always seen that, something with the group makes the field brighter. It makes it stronger. It makes it easier. But I get to really understand that more and more as we go, that part of that in this moment is because that's actually part of what we're doing. It's part of what this age's transformation is about. It's about understanding our interconnectivity much more than before. Understanding how much we reflect each other, how much we pick up each other's emotional stuff, how much we pick up each other's vibrations, we mirror back to each other, and how much we can therefore help each other. So it's not like in these group things that I am offering, in the retreat or in these different online sorts of opportunities and healings and blessings. It's not like anyone's even talking to each other. Nobody even really interacts that much. Sometimes we have a moment of sharing afterwards, and some people like to share some things, and that's always really powerful and cool. But, we just get together. You don't even know the other people there necessarily. And then I just guide you in, and we go deep, and we get big gifts. So it's pretty powerful and cool. And there's no effort on your part required, really. So I didn't really mean to talk so much about that group work before we really got into it tonight, but that's just what I'm understanding about this time, about this moment, about the human collective, about what we're all going through. And if it does feel heavy to you, if it does feel intense to you, if you have been noticing the bigger sort of waves of like awakening or moments of clarity or just sort of upliftment or the purification, where it feels a little heavy, a little rough, a little bit like things are moving through, you're not alone. That's definitely what is happening at this time. And sometimes it feels very easy and light, and you're just moving and everything's clicking. And other times you get into that gunk, into that deeper levels of purification, and it's all good. It's all good. We're all here to walk each other home. So let's get into the astrology of the moment. Let's get into what's actually happening, and I'll share with you what I've been guided to offer as well. Let's do it. I love when you go to roguesoul.org. It is the site. It is where everything I do is located. A lot of people, don't realize all the things I do, because some people find me through the show. Some people find me through Substack. Some people find me through the spiritual work. They book a session. They don't know I do a show. Some people find me through my books. They don't realize I do all the other stuff. So all of that is here on the site. You can check out the books. You can get them from me, Barnes & Noble, Audible, all sorts of places. Listen to them, read them, whatever you choose. You can schedule with me those one-on-one sessions or the group sessions as well. It's here on the site is the schedule button. You can read the testimony of people who have been working with me for many years. There's hundreds of testimonials there. Ceremony you can look into, the retreat you can look into. That's not till next summer. I haven't really let any of the details out. But you can check out how the retreat was this year and get an idea if you want to come next summer for the summer solstice retreat. You can check out the shop. There's lots of powerful orgone there. The upcoming class I'm teaching of heart-centered healing course is there. That's this September through October. It's a 6-week course. And you will learn how to become a heart-centered healer. You can apply this then to all types of healing modalities, including healing hands or sound healing. And those are the things that I will be teaching in this class. So it's literally, here's how you do it. Step by step, jump into it. Let's go. So very direct, very practical. That's here in the shop. The Orgone Lotus votives are here. The Orgone pillars are here. Very powerful tools to help support your upliftment, your meditation, your prayers, your manifestations. And if you like to support the show, the donation of support is also here on the shop, as though you were buying a thing when actually you're just donating. I appreciate those of you who donate. There's also a link below wherever you're watching or listening to donate to PayPal or other ways this is all the things you can find on the site, roguesoul.org. So the hub for everything I do. If you're looking for my channeled writings from the spiritual ancestors who told of this time before we arrived here, if you're looking for the other articles I write, the announcements that I make of types of events like the ones we're doing this Friday, the Lionsgate New Moon Water Ceremony, the Heart-Centered Healer class was announced here. All of this is on Substack, rogueways.substack.com. That is where you can read all of this. I also write about some of the occult or esoteric texts that I read throughout the times and other things. So it's all here. You can subscribe at the free level and get all of that good stuff, including previews of the channeled messages. You can subscribe at the paid level if you'd like to also get access to the full channeled messages and the entire archive of them. It's a great place to just stay in touch. I hope that you've signed up here long since. If you still haven't, go to rogueways.substack.com right now and sign up at least for the free version, if not for the supporting role. And thank you to all of you who are supporters. I really appreciate when I left all of the platforms that allowed tips and allowed support, monthly support, and those types of things, that some people went over to Substack and found a way to share that same value that you find here in the show, that you love here in the show, back with me. So thank you to all the supporters there. Thank you to everybody who's on Substack. Lots of good stuff there. So that's all the stuff. So right now we're in Leo. And you may have known this. We've talked about it because just a few weeks ago, I was called to offer a Lionsgate 8/8 blessing as well. That was really powerful. The things that people experience, I just can't get over what people get to receive when they do these things. So if you were there, we had actually quite a large group this time. And it was really, really powerful for that reason as well. It's always nice when a lot of people feel called to come join with us. And so big blessings came through, big energies. Lots of people had just huge experiences. That was just a few weeks ago. We're still in Leo. So we talked a lot about Leo a few weeks ago leading into that 8/8, especially because I invited you all to that event. And we're still in Leo. Leo keeps going, right, until the end of August here. So actually, just a few more days. The event that I was called to offer is the last day of Leo. So we're still in Leo. We're still capping off that energy. And Leo, if you've been feeling some of this energy, you don't have to be a Leo to feel the Leo energy in the air. It's very much summer energy. It's this peak of summer sort of energy. And this is what, July, end of August is all about. It's peak summer. So you're like deep into the summer at this point. It's still super hot in most places, or it's still that summer atmosphere in some place. So the big sun energy is out. Everybody wants to be, doing things. Not me, but lots of people want to be out doing things, want to be connecting with people. This bright, sunny, outward facing, big, sunny energy. This is Leo, right? So this is Leo energy. And so even though we're describing Leos right now, you could apply this to this time period that we're still in. This says Leos are likely to express themselves in dramatic, creative, and assertive ways. They are also likely to enjoy the warmth of the physical sun. Leos have great energy, courage, and honesty. They are likely to be self-confident and maybe even a bit self-indulgent, as they expect to be the center of attention, and often are. Leos can be quite determined and usually get their way when they really want to. They also possess great integrity and are a natural leader. So basically, you can imagine a lion, and that's what Leos are like, right? And Leos realize this too. If you haven't yet, you look at yourself and you're like, yeah, I am kind of like a cat, like a cat person or not, right? Those aspects of the cat energy that's like, yeah, I deserve to be praised. Come praise me. Come pet me. You wish you could pet me more, right? Like that's how cats are. Not all Leos are just arrogant. I'm not trying to say that, but that energy of like, I do deserve all this and I am worth it. I am cool. This really, really beautiful energy, that courageousness, that honesty. And this is what's really beautiful, that I've been called to lead both the 8/8 experience that just happened and this upcoming August 22nd ceremony, is because I think most people need a little bit more Leo energy, right? I think one of the main, it's not just that I think it, I see it in people when I work with them. I see it in their soul makeup. I see it in their chakra balance, is that most people are a little bit low, if not exceptionally low, on will and on self-empowered confidence, right? And both of these sort of live in some of your lower chakras. And we've been so traumatized for so many generations. The media, politics, society is still functioning on this psychopath energy, right? So we got this psychopath codependency balance that I've been talking about for years. And a lot of people are on the codependent side. The vast majority of people are on the codependent side, whether you're actually, discernibly, officially codependent or not. We're mostly on that side of things, or we're on the psychopath side of things. There's very few people who are just sort of balanced and not giving in to either temptation, right? To say, oh, no, not me. I don't deserve anything. Or be like, I deserve everything and you should give it all to me, right? Neither sort of imbalance. That's rare. So a lot of people are sort of lacking in this. Stronger, more courageous, more willful in a positive way, right? Self-confident, self-empowered sort of energy. And Leo has got that. So it makes sense to me that I've been called to do a lot of Leo blessings and energy work in this season, because we also need it right now. We don't just need it all the time. We do, but we also need it really right now. We're going into some big shifts, and we really got to be a self-worth, right? Have to have that down. We've got to be in our confidence. It's okay if you're not like perfect at those things, but we got to be aware that we deserve that. And that our goal is, our understanding is that is actually who we are and what we are, right? We are confident. We do have divine will. We do deserve it. We are empowered, right? We are confident. We are courageous. And to have that understanding of ourselves is really important the further we go into this big transformation that the earth and humanity are going through. So makes sense to me. It's so funny. I met Johnny. Johnny's a Leo. And I was just like, man, I love this guy. Like, I was like, Leo energy is awesome. And yeah, Sagittarius and Leo are supposed to be like perfectly combined, right? And in traditional astrology, that's what I am. I'm Sagittarius and he's Leo. He remains Leo, even in his true sidereal chart. I do my true sidereal chart. I'm a Fucus, which is really cool to me. Makes perfect sense to me. But he's double Leo. Like, he's Leo no matter what. So a hardcore Leo. Pretty cool. So I like Leo people myself. If you're, some of these signs that are least compatible, Taurus, Scorpio, Pisces, and Capricorn, maybe they're not your favorite. Maybe that's not your favorite energy. Who knows? It's not always exactly that cut and dry. We've all got tons of signs in all of our houses and all over the place. And so, there can be some wiggle room here. But it does tend to be that way. So it says Leo people are very proud. Their challenge is to temper any tendency for arrogance or egotistical behavior, and to instead develop deep humility and compassion, to learn detachment in the gift of their affections so that they radiate their abundant energy freely and enhance the life experience of others around them. Yeah, that's what we want to all be doing, right? Enhance the lives of everybody around us. Just radiate abundance. So if you did tap into that 8-8 blessing that I offered, if you were part of that event, that was our focus, right? That's what I was guided to have us be focused on, is our abundance and just being able to receive so much of it and then share so much of it, receive so much of it, share so much of it. So definitely makes sense. So, it's a symbol of the lion because it's Leo, it's the cat. The ruling planet is the sun. We all have our ruling planets for different signs, and the sun rules Leo. Makes sense. Again, summer, big sun energy, Leo, all ties together. It's the 5th house. I'm not a house person. I'm not sure what that means. Someone out there right now is like, it's this, and it makes perfect sense. I would guess it has to do with finances, given the abundance aspect of this, but I don't know. The element is fire. Makes sense again. It's fixed. And the keyword, this graphic says, the keyword is creating. All the Leos I know are very creative people. You don't have to be a Leo to be creative, but definitely true. Creating abundance, creating with this life force energy of the sun, creating and shining that out to the world. Definitely Leo energy. So it says Leos are likely to express themselves. And again, we're talking about the Leo time period too, not just Leos. This time period is likely to have expression in dramatic, creative, and assertive ways. Great energy, courage, and honesty, self-confident, all the stuff we already said, actually. So there's more about this. We don't need to get deeper into Leo. That's this time. That's where we're at right now. It's going to end this coming Saturday. We're going to be moving into Virgo. That's in traditional astrology. I'm not sure exactly how much true sidereal may have a few days in between. True sidereal goes a much more exact line in the sky instead of equal 30-degree chunks. So Leo might already be over, or it might take a few more days to end, but we're right on that cusp anyway between Leo and Virgo. And so those are the times, those are the energies that we really need. Leo and Virgo both. So it makes sense. So, again, we just went through that sort of Lion's Gate, they call it, and it's just the Leo time period. It's also because 8/8 is a significant numerological value. It's the egregore of this date over time has become this big thing. It's the alignment to Sirius, the dog star to Orion. And, we talked about all of this a few weeks ago, but that's what makes it the Lion's Gate. That's what makes it significant for people. It's a big transformation. And so we went through the Lion's Gates. We're not technically in the Lion's Gate anymore. I think it ended, however they cut it up. And for whatever reason, they ended on the 12th. So it starts at the end of July and on the 12th, I think, of August. And it's the 18th as I'm doing this show. We're going to be doing the event that I keep referencing on the 22nd. So we're out of the official Lion's Gate, but don't fool yourself. We are still in that cusp. We're still in the energy of that time, but also we are moving forward into what's coming. There's something significant about September. There's just big energy. I know I keep saying that all year. It's been really cool to see how much we are affecting the collective, including world events, world leaders. It's not just you and me. It's not just the people who come to my events. It's all sorts of spiritual healers and leaders and teachers and figures have been called to really focus on this in this time. Now more than ever, I want to say, and it's very effective. So it's been very cool to work with the Lionsgate energy, to work with groups like you guys, and to be a part of that transformation. Very honored to be called to do this work. So we're still kind of connected to the Lionsgate energy. What's really interesting for me is that we get to sort of tap into the field we already created for the Lionsgate. So you don't have to have been to the Lionsgate event to come to this future event, this Friday's event, but you will benefit from the work that was done in the 8/8 Lionsgate event that I held, because I am the bridge between them and I'm carrying us through that sort of experience. And the sympathetic vibration is still strong within me. It's still strong within the work I've been called to do with these 2 dates. And so it'll be strong for you. So I've talked about this synchronous recasting is a term that I was guided to call this type of magic, often used in black magic. It's easiest to see, in fact, in black magic, unfortunately, where black magicians will have mass spells and rites and rituals like the Super Bowl halftime show. And they can harken back to earlier Super Bowl halftime shows, for example, and just have a few elements that harken back to that, and it reactivates the energy that they had already gathered in the previous rite. So this sort of synchronous recasting is something we can use in the light side as well. You don't have to even try. It's just true. It's just like if you've practiced something a billion times, it's easier and easier in each time. This is the same idea as the egregore. It's the same idea as morphogenetic fields, right? There's all sorts of names from it in different scientific fields and different philosophical fields and different magical fields, but they're all talking about the same thing. And it's just that repetition has a sort of extra oomph and flavor and power. And so we get to benefit from this massive 8/8 Lionsgate event we already did. Again, that was a really big turnout. I don't remember. I think there was like 30 people there. So it was a lot. It might not sound big to some people, but not everyone's called to show up to these events. You may not have known that. So, we get that many people. It's a big effect on the world. It's a big effect on each other. It's a big field that's created. And we, this coming Friday, get to tap on that same 8/8 Lionsgate energy. Here's the other interesting thing. Oh man, I meant to have this open. Where did it go? Well, I'll just tell you, is that sometime in the earliest part of 2025, I was guided to do a celestial attunement to the celestial alignment that was happening in our solar system. Visually to us, the stars or the planets were lining up, right? And so we had 5 planets out of 9 that were lining up for us in the sky. Realistically, if you're out in space somewhere, they're not all making a line. Then again, no matter where you are, no matter what's happening, somewhere in space, everything's lined up in a line. There's some angle you could get at where everything will line up. So whatever, think of it however you want. But there was this alignment. It was significant. I was guided to do a celestial attunement. That was incredibly powerful. We had a big group show up for that attunement. Attunements are a bit specific, a bit powerful. It's kind of like a little mini initiation for everybody who shows up. That was huge. Then I think it was a month and a half or 2 months later, that celestial alignment got another 2 planets joining. So now we had 7 planets. We're one of them, and one of them doesn't count anymore, supposedly. So that's all the planets. So this was a big mega alignment again. And so we capped it off on the other end with another celestial attunement. That same alignment is back right now. And so we're at the tail end of it, actually. By the time we get to this Friday, it will just be sort of ending. And that's the last little blip of the alignment through the year. These things come in cycles, just like eclipses. We have eclipse seasons and we get multiple eclipses for a while. And these alignments too. So this is the last one of the year. It is connected to the previous 2. And so we also are tapping into that energy this Friday. So we have all of this synchronous recasting in the best, positive, brightest, lightest way for this Friday's event. I didn't know any of that when I was called to do this. So you may see this pattern from me a lot where I get the message, then I go into it and I get, creating it, inviting people to it. And then I really see why I was called to do this on this day. That's no different this time. I didn't realize that celestial alignment was here again for the last time this year and ending right then. I didn't realize it was the last day of Leo. I just knew it was the 22nd. We're just doing another blessing on the 22nd. And then I sort of start to get the downloads about like what it actually is, what we're tapping into, what we've been weaving this whole time, whether you knew it or not, when you were part of these events. And what we're moving into and how we're going to be prepared for that. So that's why this Friday is going to be really big. It's the previous celestial attunements, 2 of them, and the previous Lionsgate 88 event, all are sort of lending the field, the intensity of the field to this event this Friday. Who knows if there'll be some more this year that kind of somehow tap back into some of these. I don't know. We don't always tap back in to the same field we created in the past. Unless you want to get really meta and you realize all of the fields are one field. But back down here on Earth, we're not always doing it like that. This is sort of just by chance. I'll say that for me, from my perspective, but my guides are like, oh, there's nothing chance about this. This was the plan all along. You just didn't know it. So, no chance really. You know it, I know it. So yeah, still walking through the Lion's Gate, right? If this was the gate that you see in front of you on the screen, we're walking through it like a train is going through the Southern Oracle. We'll be just on the other side. The beam will have shut and we will have leapt out of the way safe on the other side as we add this little capstone blessing water ceremony this Friday. So I'll get into the details of that in a minute, but I just wanted to share all of that and how it connects. And so yeah, we end Leo that day as well. Again, didn't know that. I knew it's 22nd, and 22 is a big, powerful day. And I've learned this, both from numerologists and also just an experience. And also because my whole life I've been joined together with the 22 energy in various ways. And so I just knew it. But it's the 22nd as well. So we did 8-8 Lionsgate previously. Now we're doing a 22nd, 22. And these numbers, some people call them angel numbers. But these repeating numbers are powerful always. And this 22nd is no different. Every 22nd, you can do sort of just a little bit more powerful, more oomph to your prayers, more oomph to your meditations and your manifestations or any other spiritual work you're doing. And this 22nd's extra special for the reasons that I was just sharing. The end of that celestial alignment, the end of the sort of Lion's Gate, the end of Leo, and the end of that energy, and a 22 day. So pretty powerful. We're going into Virgo, but also, and Virgo, by the way, is something, again, really good for us to tap into in this time. Part of what we were called to sort of focus on, the energy that seemed to be wanting to come through the most for us on the 8-8 Lionsgate event was a little bit of that, what's the purpose? What's my purpose? And how am I going to step further into that? And Virgo's got a lot to give us in that area, because Virgo, which we're moving into on Saturday, day after the 22nd, day after this event, Virgo is all about that organization, right? All of that practicality, that precision, that sense of duty is really the big energy in Virgo that we're calling through at this moment. Sense of duty is really going to be enhancing that call to purpose that we were focusing on in the 8/8 Lionsgate event. That's going to still be here as part of this upcoming event on Friday. Right? That sense of duty is the sense of purpose. Sense of duty is your purpose. The thing that you feel a duty towards, that's your purpose, right? Like I felt a duty my whole life to help people, right? To teach who I could, to help children, especially, to help them through the hardest part of life, in my opinion, which is adolescence, right? And to take care of the world in that way. And that's why I became a teacher. And that's why I do the work I do now. Right. And so that's why I felt a sense of duty. I couldn't have not done it. I would have felt like I was failing the world. Right. Not everybody's sense of duty is that, though. Your sense of duty might be that, like, I need to create, I need to sing, I need to run, right? I need to be a runner, like whatever. It's different for everyone. It's all necessary. So the thing you feel called to, that's the thing, right? So Virgo is going to come help us support that aspect too, of really being deeper in. If you're already in your purpose, having a deeper immersion into it, having it spread to a larger area more easily, more freely, all sorts of good practical energy around that, refining, organizing, diligence, all of this energy. So really good balance too, Leo, Virgo, right? Really good balance, really good energies together. So not only all that, but it is a new moon on the 22nd as well. 22nd, 23rd, right? It's that night is the moment of totality, the fullest of the moon. But it's right there. It's right there in Leo and Virgo. Oh, so again, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure the traditional astrologists are saying it's a new moon in Virgo. True Sidereal saying it's a new moon in Leo. You can go either way. And like I said before, like we get to do both. And in fact, as I just showed, they're both perfect right now because we're going from Leo to Virgo. So it's not always like that. That's how it is now. And so we got this new moon energy as well. This is from Athen Comenti, who does True Sidereal Astrology. He has Mastering the Zodiac. If you go to my site at roguesoul.org, you'll actually find on my favorite things tab a link to get a discount for a True Sidereal report. You can get your chart for free from his site, which is really cool if you would just like to look at those things yourself. If you want a master astrologist like Athen to, go through and pull out all the details and give you it plain language, like here's all the things that are indicated, here's what's true for you, here's what to watch out for, you actually can get a discount there. So it's an affiliate link. I appreciate the support. If you are going to work with Athen, if you do use that link, that helps me out too. I work with Athen. I love Athen. So he's on the show at least once a year to give us the yearly rundown, and he's awesome. So go check that out if you're interested in your True Sidereal as opposed to your tropical, which is the one you probably already know and have known your whole life and read horoscopes about. And so this is a little bit different and cool. So his newsletter, which you can also get if you sign up on his site for free, it's just masteringthezodiac.com, and you can get this too. I get it every week, and it just gives you a sort of astrological rundown, what's going on. And so this new moon in Leo is what we get on Friday. So this event is on a 22nd, 22 day. It's on a new moon. We're tapping into Leo and Virgo. We're tapping into the end of that Lionsgate. We're tapping back into the celestial alignments that have been going on and all the planetary energy that's been coming in. And we've got this, 4 times deep now, source field magnification. So it's a big event. It's a big event. I know you can already feel that if you are sensitive or intuitive, but I have to just keep saying like how big it is. I feel so honored. But this is what Athen says about the new moon in Leo. He says, late Thursday into early Friday, the moon begins again with a new moon in Leo. This is the kind of new moon that arrives with questions rather than answers. What have you not said aloud? What have you avoided naming because it mattered too much to risk? The Leo moon does not demand performance. It waits for honesty, not for the sake of being seen, but for the sake of being whole. Beginnings here do not always look like starting over. Sometimes they look like turning towards something you thought you had left behind. Sometimes they show up in the shape of your own reflection, just a little clearer this time. Leo brings warmth, but also courage, the kind of courage that invites you to meet yourself without decoration, What you feel now may not yet be visible to others. It may still be private, but it has already begun to shift the shape of your choices. That paragraph specifically struck me, and this is what I feel aligns really deeply with the event that I've been called to guide people through, the ceremony, the blessing that will come through, aligns with this exact idea that it says sometimes you shows up in the shape of your own reflection, but a little clearer this time. I really feel like part of this we're talking about of like gaining a stronger divine will, gaining that courage, that confidence. It's like we all already have that inside, right? It's just a little bit clearer as we go. It just gets a little bit clearer as we go. Every time it gets a little bit clearer. So it's already there. It's not like you're lacking something, right? There's nothing missing from your soul, from your heart, from your mind. It's really just bringing it into focus, into clarity. So that's really how it feels to me too. This other part, he talks about what you feel now may not be visible to others. It may still be private, but it's already begun to shift the shape of your choices. I keep feeling this too with people. For example, the people who are signing up for that heart-centered healer class that I'm offering this September, those people have known that they're healers forever, right? This is something that a lot of people carry around with them where they're like, I think I am, I don't know. Right. And I don't know if people feel like it's too crazy or the people around them won't accept it, or how are they actually going to do that if they have to be this person over here. And right. It's just a shifting of your understanding of yourself. It's stepping into what was already there. It's a releasing of the things that weren't really fully you anymore and never were to begin with. Right. And it just doesn't have to be as dramatic or crazy as you think. It can be subtle. It can remain private even for a while. Right. I think some people will take this class and go right into offering healing to people. And I think some people will take this class and they're going to sit on it for a while and practice it here and there. And that's how it tends to go. And it's perfect. It's perfect however it is. So this event, this Friday, feels similar in that I think a lot of people, and a lot of them are going to be at the Heart-Centered Healing class too, both. I think a lot of people are going to come and they're going to have some things that they know they're about to sort of wake up. They know they're about to step into. They know this has been sort of brewing for a while, and it might not even be super clear what it is. I just had someone describing this to me today when they found out I was a spiritual healer and teacher. You know, they're like, I just feel this big thing and it's just coming and it's huge, but I don't really understand what it is. And I was like, yeah, that's actually that's a perfect description of this time period, actually. I think a lot of people want to pretend they know how it's going to be or how it's going to go or how they're going to be or what the future looks like. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. We have some pretty good insights, but we don't know for sure. And so, but you feel that, right? You feel that sort of, there's something, this big, immense thing, and it's coming towards you or you're moving towards it. And it actually can be a lot easier than you think. It can be a lot simpler than you think, right? It can be a lot more practical than you think. And yeah, that's part of that Virgo energy that's coming in too. It's like, okay, well, here's the steps. And it's so interesting because that was the guidance I got for this heart-centered healing class, is like, this is very practical. This is very step-by-step based. This isn't the, esoteric big teachings. Those will be kind of laced in there, but this is the like, here's how you do it. Here's what it is. Here's what's happening. So pretty cool. Got that Virgo, got that Leo. They're coming together and they've got so much to offer us right now. And this new moon is really locking it in. So as he said in this first sentence way back here, the moon begins again with a new moon in Leo. It's a new beginning, right? New questions, new moments, new stuff, sort of like step into that, right? And that's what this Friday is really for. He says, also Athens says to go on about the new moon, this moon forms a square to Uranus, which brings a restless undercurrent. There may be a desire to make sudden moves, to pull away from what feels familiar. If the ground feels unsteady, it may be because something in you is ready to be freed. So that's kind of what we're talking about too, right? Uranus is coming in to help us too, to just sort of like shake it up enough to like see the whole new way things can be. But again, much simpler than you think. It was already there. It's just different than how you thought, right? Not all releases happen through rebellion, he says. Some happen quietly, like loosening a grip you didn't realize you were holding. That space you've been craving may not need to be taken. It may simply need to be allowed. right? This whole energy we're talking about, there's no force here. It's all just a simple, it's a showing up, it's just an allowing, it's a releasing, it's a receiving. Feels like a big breath of fresh air. So it's going to feel really good. He says the sun will also square Uranus by Sunday, extending the same themes through the weekend. There's a tension between holding and letting go, between the roles you've always played and the ones you're still learning how to step into. How perfect is that? That's what we were just talking about, right? This feels like everyone who's receiving healings lately, coming to me for support lately, doing these types of events, coming to the Heart-Centered Healing class, everyone feels this. Even people who aren't doing any of that and don't even know me are coming up to me and telling me this, right? This is where we're all kind of collectively at. And so this is the work we're doing together. So the sun's supporting us. Uranus is supporting us. Leo, Virgo are here to support us. That Lionsgate energy, that celestial alignment, all of it. New moon, here we go. It says discomfort does not always mean something's wrong. It can also mean something is changing, not because of the pressure to evolve, but because something deeper no longer fits. No longer fit. That is like the catchphrase of this. Again, as I've been saying, this switching of the ages, the switching of times, this cusp we're in of the clash of ages, and this massive changes that we're going through, and we'll be going through more of. It's a perfect way to describe it, right? It's not the pressure to evolve. It's just something no longer fits. In fact, that something is most of society and its structure. We'll get there. That's what no longer fits. So it's within us too, right? There's something that no longer fits. And we're like, got to step away from that. Got to just let that become what it is, which is not me, and step more into what I actually am, right? That's what we're doing. He says, what is offered here is not a clear direction, but an opening, a point of contact, a flicker of recognition that pulls you forward, even if the path is still uncertain. You may not know yet what the next chapter is about, but you can feel where it begins, somewhere near the chest, somewhere just under the skin, something steady, something quiet, something real. So perfect. I feel like he channels these through, and it's so funny because I'm always saying all of this and describing what I feel about the time, and I don't know the astrology of the time. And then I read Athen and I'm like, that's exactly it. So I love this, how perfect it is for this event we're going to be doing in a few days here that you're invited to. I'll get to exactly how to do that if you're interested in it and exactly what it is. But there's a few more things. He also shows that on Saturday, Mercury will enter Leo. So a more Leo energy here. Mercury moves into Leo on Saturday, and something shifts in the rhythm of thought. There's a return of voice here, not just in volume, but in tone. Expression becomes more vivid, more personal. So that's cool. He says the shadow of the retrograde is still present, but it's releasing. We're out of it now. So if you are someone who's sensitive to retrograde energies, and Mercury retrograde specifically seems to hit a lot of people real hard, then that's out. We also have Venus entering Cancer. So Venus, the planet of love, is entering Cancer, the deep, emotional, dreamy guy. So Venus enters Cancer, he says, on Saturday, offering a quiet tether to the water beneath the fire. So when I read this, I was like, what? Come on. Because what I was actually guided to do this Friday is a water ceremony, which I've never offered anybody, period. The end. So this is the first time I've done a million, but only with myself. It's never been something I've been called to do with other people. And so this is a mass, large group water ceremony. And here he is talking about the water beneath the fire. Because I was kind of like, what? It's weird to do a water ceremony, in Leo, and this new moon in Leo. And even Virgo, I think, is an earth sign. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. And, but not very watery. There's not a lot of watery energy. We're at the height of summer. Not very watery, very fiery. Lots of fire energy. And now you want me to do this water ceremony, but it's so perfect because Venus is entering Cancer, and this is right at this exact same moment. So we've got all this watery, loving, dreamy energy. And what's really cool, you may not know, water is like an interdimensional portal. And when I say like, I mean it is an interdimensional. Like, water is the weirdest substance. You can go all the way back to one of the first ever Rogueways episodes, still on the podcast platform, still somewhere on Vimeo too. You can go all the way back 7 years ago, and you can hear us talking about how weird water is. One of the first shows I did, and that wasn't my first exploration of the weirdness and the interdimensional portal that is water, but as the first one I recorded for others to hear. And it's true. And this is why you can use water in ceremony so powerfully. Water can do amazing things with very little. Like if you feel like you're not a magical or a spiritual or a high intention or high vibing or clear, subtle, whatever, profound, sensitive person, you too can use water profoundly because it doesn't need much. It's not a tool that requires you to have a, grand degree of initiation into some esoteric pathway. It's just, this is what water does. This is what water's for. The element is amazing. So that I then found out from Athen in this newsletter that Venus is entering Cancer. And as he literally says, giving us a tether to the water beneath the fire. Tether to the water beneath the fire. We're bringing in all these things we've been working on all year. Whether you've been at any of those events or not, doesn't matter. Bringing all that energy in, and we're going to anchor it into this water portal to really transform ourselves in this world, in this timeline. We already have. We're just giving it an extra little capstone. So pretty powerful stuff. He says, Venus keeps something softer close by. Cancer reminds us that not all growth is loud. Some of it unfolds through memory, which water is really good at. So this is a time travel aspect we're adding in here. It's really cool. It's going to go in all directions in time. Through care, he says, through the act of returning. It couldn't be more perfect if I tried. I couldn't have planned a better day for this water ceremony if I tried. And that's why I don't try and why I just do what I'm told. I say that all the time. People are like, how did you get into this? I'm like, I didn't have a choice. I was forced into this work. I'm so grateful for it. And I'm glad I listened. And I just continue to do what I'm told. So I'm happy to be as humble a servant as I can make myself be. Okay. And he adds this final note. You may notice moments this week when the heart wants slower pacing. So you might want to just feel a little protective. Venus in Cancer, he says, brings a different kind of warmth than Leo. It's like a nurturing inward sort of warmth. So if you need some of that this week, that makes sense. And if you need some of that through this ceremony we're going to do, then you're welcome to bring that through to the ceremony. So if you are subscribed on Substack, you already got this announcement. If you're subscribed on my email list, you already got this announcement. Some people are on both, so you may have got it twice in two different ways. But this Lionsgate new moon water ceremony is coming up this Friday. And in this Substack article, I say, anchor the blessings of this time, the highest timeline, and serve all of yourself and all of the cosmos. So we really are anchoring in it. That just hit me. Did he literally, I just closed it, but in the newsletter, I think he literally said, we're anchoring the water beneath the fire. Oh, he said tether, same thing, different word, same idea. So funny. So we're anchoring the fire we've called in down into the interdimensional portal of the water through this water ceremony. And we're getting the highest timeline to come into alignment with ourselves. Therefore, we get to live it. And that serves all of us and all of humanity and all of the cosmos, in fact. So, no pressure. It's just, you actually just get to show up and receive. So super cool for you. So I said, we're still in the Lionsgate. It's time to hold a water ceremony for all who are called to hold the highest light and timeline for Earth. The water ceremony is literally just going to involve you and a cup of water. So you don't have to worry about anything else. You're going to show up and, if you've signed up already, you'll be receiving your instructions the day before. If you're going to sign up, you'll be receiving your instructions. But you'll just have a cup of water, any cup you want. Ideally glass, ideally something you think is beautiful or cool. Ceramic would be cool too, but perhaps steel. We wouldn't want plastic, maybe for obvious reasons, just lower vibration. You just want purer, higher vibration things. If you got crystal, that's cool. So you'll have that. That's all you need to worry about. And then I'll guide you through a very simple water ceremony. This isn't magic. This isn't like summoning or anything. It's nothing like super weird. It's really just using the water to focus our intention, our love, our prayer, our connection to source, to God, through Jesus, if he's your guy, or whoever's your good, true, and beautiful anchor, through the light. And that's it, right? So it's not anything too intense. I don't teach things that are forceful. I don't do summoning. I don't do magic. I don't teach it and I don't suggest it. But a simple little ceremony involving some elements, and water is one of them. So that's what we'll be doing in this new moon with Leo, with Virgo. And we'll be aligning our intentions in that way on this 22 day. And so it's going to be big. It's going to be big, big energy. I really hope you feel called to join this one. If you are on the Substack post right now, you can just click join the ceremony. And it brings you to the Calendly where you can book. And that is the way that you join us. When you go to book it, it does tell you, right? There's only one day you can do it. It's the 22nd. And though I'm clicking on it and it's saying 7 p.m., that's because I'm in Mountain time zone. If you are in Eastern time zone, this is going to say 9 p.m. If you're in Pacific, it's going to say 6 p.m., right? Or whatever. So it knows where you are and it's talking to you. So whatever time it says is the time on your day, but 9 p.m. Eastern this Friday, we'll be doing this. You don't have to show up live, as all of my group events like this, they're recorded. Sometimes people's internet goes out and they get popped out, or they couldn't show up in the first place, or they have something to do that night. And so they'd rather be doing that than sitting in front of a computer. And that's okay. So you don't have to be there live to receive the blessing, to be in the field, to be a part of this powerful thing within the next handful of days. If you just come sign in, I will have sent you the link and you can come tap into that field. Spirit, source, souls, they don't know time and space. It doesn't matter to them. So it doesn't matter if they're live. I like it when people are live because it's more fun, when we can see we're all here together. But realistically, if you're there, if you register, you don't have to show up to the Zoom. You don't even have to watch the video technically, but I like to feel the experience. I like to be in the experience, and I think you do too. So if you can come live, come live. If you can't, you can still sign up and you will still be a part of it and you will still experience it because you will be able to see and hear and do it all with us step by step. So feel free to come no matter where you're at or what you're doing. And you can always invite people too. I have some people that are like, can I? Yeah, of course. It's here. It's not a private. It's not a secret. Anybody who feels called to come should come. So if you have people who want to come. I do love it when people, I feel like it's such an honor when people suggest me to other people or suggest my events to other people, because that means the value of what you received and the changes and the transformations it can create in your life, and you want other people to have that. That's beautiful. I love that. So yes, please share it if you feel that is something you want to do. And that's the event. Those are the energies of the time. That's what I was called to offer beyond my knowing. And here we are seeing just how perfectly aligned it is, as always, as all things are, even when we don't think they are. The more we listen to that guidance, the more they feel like they are, right? The more we listen to the master within in our heart, the God of our heart, and all that is good, true, and beautiful, the better things go. So if you're feeling called, please come. You're going to receive so much for very little. And it's very exciting what's happening on Earth with humanity, with all of us. And again, if you are feeling that heaviness and this is hard and I don't know, this is probably a good thing for you to do. You don't have to be feeling that way. A lot of people are feeling just fine and going to come, but especially if you're feeling that, you want to lay some of that down, get some of this blessing, get some of this support. So I remember one of the things that one of the people, I get a lot of feedback, and a lot of it goes up on the site. Not all of it does, but one of the pieces of feedback that someone shared for the 8/8 Lionsgate, she said, I believe it was actually someone who had never come to any of my events or, been a part of any of these sort of things before, which is an even bigger honor to receive that level of trust, to have somebody come through when they don't even really know you. And so she didn't know what to expect at all. And to be honest, I don't think what I do is like what anyone else anywhere does. So, there's always similarities, but it's pretty radically different from the way I do tarot readings is radically different. My orgone is radically different. Everything I do is radically different. Someone said it to me once. They were like, you just have to be different. And I was like, I didn't even really mean to be. So no, I don't have to be. I just am, I guess. But so especially if you've never done anything like this, maybe that's even better. But if you have, you might be like, whoa, what is this? This is a big energy. I get that a lot. Well, this person, she said, I didn't really know what to expect, but I also have been feeling just heavy, like depressed, like really anxious, and just like stuck in it. It's just not shifting. And then I came to this event, and then I did it, and it's all gone. And this was, a day or two later, and she's like, and it's still gone. I just feel good. And that's exactly the type of thing that I tend to hear. I hear that. I hear people say, oh, I had these pains in my body. They're just gone now. I'm not doing this. I'm a channel. I'm a bridge. I'm a hollow bone here to channel through the energy that I've been called to channel through for you. And it's all God, it's all source, all heaven. I just get to be here as the middleman and watch it all happen. And I'm honored to do so. So I'm not surprised that miracles happen for people. And big money comes through for people, big shifts, all sorts of things. It's really beautiful. So, I don't ever promise anything. I don't have to, though, because you show up and you just will receive. But I hope you do if you're feeling the call. And we'll see if I get to do a winning report this week. Things feel really tight right now. So I'm going to do my best to get that. I like doing that for you guys. So I hope to get the winning report out for you. And otherwise, I will see you next time. And hopefully at the event on the 22nd, go sign up now. And I hope to see you there. I hope we get to all continue to transform ourselves and all of the world together. And until we do, we'll travel well, aim for balance, and always look inside first. Mwah.
Screens, it's a plot to drop the IQ. Fighting amongst each other over rumors that don't like you. Prefer us trapped in melancholy with the wood ones of holly. Suggestions that obliterate to camouflage the folly. Attempted mental robbery, executed sloppily. Hypocrisy, this mockery, and walk the talk with me. Put the hands up to touch the Akasha, cause you know deep down there's something bigger than your wallet.